Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction or read-through for Kubera Season 2, episodes 150 onward, 150 to 152 probably. I've been doing three chapters at a time just because this has been divisible by 3, with I think 30 chapters overall in Your Justice and Mine. But today I am, doing well enough on time for Kubera that if this is really short, I might do a little bit more, but, don't want to get your hopes up before even starting. So I'm planning on 3 though, but if they're short, we can maybe do a little bit more this week. We'll just see how things go. But I did notice while setting everything up to record today, these chapters are from summer 2015. So we are now officially 10 years behind. So I have read over 5 years worth so far. I think 6 or 7 years, accounting for breaks and everything. So I'm over a third of the way caught up, but it was just wild setting up and being like, wow, this is from 10 years ago. So we are now officially 10 years behind. But either way, I think that's about it. I don't think there was anything more that I wanted to talk about before I started reading. I mean, some of you also, echoed my opinions where you're like, yeah, this is kind of a chill, slower part of the story. I have never thought that slower equals bad. I love just being along for the journey. I love just seeing what the characters are doing. So, all the time that we spent in Calibloom, I thought was really fun. I love just so much time that we spent having the characters just do things and interact with each other and develop so much in Calibloom. I absolutely love that, because then when we do get these big moments, they're even more impactful because we've spent so long with the characters. It feels like I know the characters from Kubera, or I have seen the characters from Kubera go through so much more, and I've gotten so much more of a deep look at them than characters from so many other series if given a similar amount of time. So I think that's great. I thought the journey, earlier on in the series, was really good. So for me, this is slow, but I kind of said it last week. I don't really have a problem with that. I'm still enjoying this. I certainly don't think it's bad. But to me, the slowness isn't really in the pace of the story. The slowness, to me, for the first part of this arc so far, was kind of in character moments. I feel like this was kind of some of the lightest Kubera has been in terms of really, really getting into the characters, and it probably doesn't help. And again, that's not to say there hasn't been anything, because there's been a lot that I think is really intriguing and interesting with Saha and Lorraine, and then the teeny bit we saw with Asha, some of the characters interacting with each other. A big focus has been on Ron and Rana, even if I don't think it's been the best for their characters. But one thing that I think might be negatively affecting it a little bit is I've come to love all of these characters over dozens, if not hundreds, of chapters, but they're kind of all in a bad place right now. Ron is in kind of, a toxic, not great romance. Yuta is, if we're just talking about our main quartet, Ron is, having his low point in the series so far, dealing with Rana. Yuta, post development, has just not been the best. I'm not a huge fan of Yuta post-development, just as a character. Lee's here, where Lee's is amazing. Lee's is amazing, but again, we really haven't seen much emotionally out of her. She's kind of just been, sad Lee's time because of everything that's been going on. And we haven't really gotten a ton character-wise from her in a dozen or so chapters. She's really just been on sad Lee's hours. And then we have Asha, who's been kind of sealed away, not doing anything for the majority of the past 10, 20 chapters since the trial. And even in the trial, she was kind of just sitting there while everybody else explained things. So it's like our main quartet of characters has kind of, they're kind of at a low point right now. Not in terms of writing necessarily, but they're all just they're going through it at the moment, and not in the most tense, exciting of ways yet, but we're building up to that. And then other characters that are newer that I've really come to enjoy, we also have kind of like chilled on them a little bit for right now. But either way, just wanted to discuss the series a little bit, but let's start reading 150. So, Lise, how do you feel now? What do you mean? I'm fine. Your face seemed to stiffen before when I mentioned Dasha. There's some food in the bottom compartment here. It's to help the people in the tower maintain their vigor, so help yourself and don't feel bad about eating it at all. If you feel bad, at least this will make you feel a bit better. Honestly, the thing with Asha isn't a problem that would get better with me talking. And we have the the awkwardness with Roosh and Irie there, too. Ah, is that what you were worried about? Thanks, Mirha. And I mentioned it last time too, but I think the look here with Lise with the makeup and everything fits the sad, hiding her feelings Lise really well. Thanks, Mirha. Well, I'll head back to the temple now. Lise, hang in there. Things may be tough now, but once this battle is over... And then there's an awkward silence between them. Once this battle is over, there will be a better future waiting for you. I stopped myself as I was about to say this. What would saying a better future mean to a girl who knows that her life is going to be ended soon by the god of death? If she's unlucky, she could end up dying before her lifespan runs out, and even if she's lucky and survives every crisis, her heart will stop no matter what on the day that her life is set to end. No matter how active she is in this war, and even if she succeeds in becoming a hero like Rao, even if she defeats the evil Shuras and saves countless people, there will be nothing left for Lise. Man. Once this battle's over, what? Why'd you stop talking? Then shall I finish the sentence instead? Once this battle is finished, let's go get a giant parfait. And again, she's still trying to cheer everyone up, looking on the bright side of things instead of dwelling on how horrifying the situation is. You were full before, so we didn't get to try it, remember? So next time, we're going to try eating it together, okay? Promise me. Okay, Lise. Next time for sure. Let's try it together. And I was thinking, too, when she was talking about Lise, like, what does Lise have left? Or why would I say, oh yeah, once this battle is over to Lise? I wasn't even thinking about the lifespan thing. Yeah, that's horrible, too. I was thinking, once it's all over, if Lise wants to separate herself away from Ron a bit to not interfere in Ron and Rana's relationship, Asha will presumably be potentially out of Lisa's life, and even if she isn't, Lise has to deal with the fact that Asha essentially used and betrayed her, and if she doesn't want to forgive her or have anything to do with her, that would totally make sense. I feel like that's not in Lisa's character, but still. So even if all these other characters make it out of this, Yuta's still going through what he's going through. He's kind of not healthy for her when he's around, and when he's not around, that's even one less person that she can rely on, that she cares about. If she tries to make friends with some of the others like Agni already has his own life, and Atera with Brilith. It's like everyone in Lisa's life was taken away from her, and even if they survived this battle, it's almost like everyone's being taken away again. She lost everyone, but she gained friends like Asha and Yuta and Ron. But then potentially after this battle, her new friends, her new village, her new family she found are going to be gone, at least in a way, again. That's what I was thinking about. But then there's also the fact that she isn't going to live very long, which is just another thing on top of it. Part 2, Episode 150, Your Justice and Mine, Part 16. What's this? The humans are preparing so diligently, and yet we... If only we had gone through with the attack at least before the Aero Plateau got here, or before Agni got here. Judging from the colors... Cloche? I don't know who Brown is, though. This one looks brown. Our preparations were delayed because there was a problem with him. Maybe Ryagara? I think Ryagara is more reddish usually, though, right? Maybe that is Ryagara. But what exactly is the problem? If, like, judging by the composition of the shot here. But what exactly is the problem? Could we have ended this as if Symphati had just broken the barrier and we attacked? She may say it's to block anyone from using insight, but it's not fair to keep it from us. Is there really a problem? Could she just be stalling for time? That's smart as well. Don't tell other Shuras everything you know, because then if insight gets used on them, they will be able to, the insight will be able to tell what they knew. And then, what'd they do with the translation? Cloche, watch your mouth. Who are you implying is stalling for time? Well, obviously. No, forget it. I'm going to do as Sagara wishes anyway. So here's the thing. Cloche, like C-L-O-C-H-E, is like kind of literal in the Korean. It's like literally the equivalent of C-L-O-C-H-E. But maybe she's supposed to be named after like a person or something, and that's why it's supposed to be C-L-O-T-Z-E. And they didn't, like, the translators didn't realize that it was a reference to something and are changing it now in order to match the reference that the name is supposed to be, or it's mistranslated and they should have just stuck with the literal. No, forget it. I'm going to do as Sagara wishes anyway. It just bothers me that the situation becomes more unfavorable for us as it gets better for the humans. I always remember her, though, by Cloche because it's French for belle, and that is not how it would be pronounced, but it is at least how it's spelled. And she is bell-colored, being like bronzish yellow. In the end, even if we win, isn't it natural to hope that as a few kids... Wait. In the end, even if we win, isn't it natural to hope that as few kids die as possible in the process? Do you think that we'll all be able to gather together after this battle's finished? I wish we could all be together. That's why I'm worried. That's it. And we have the 4 Sagara siblings. Or, you know what I mean, Sagara begotten siblings. Oh, are you including me in that too? Thanks. Stop ruining the mood. Don't worry, you guys won't be in danger. The Anantas have earthly attributes, so they're weak around the Aero Plateau. So, all of you will stay in the rear, protect him in the rear, and wait for the battle to end. And we have the Burbs coming in. Only the Shuras not from Ananta clan will attack the city. So the Anantas are kind of lucking out in a big way. What? We can handle the battle just fine on our own. Okay, sorry, that's still Symphati. We can handle the battle just fine on our own. You guys won't be in danger. Since you're so concerned about survival, shouldn't you be overjoyed about waiting in the rear? But Symphati, if none of the Anantas go, that means that Sagara won't fight either. But you said that you would avoid facing Agni, right? Because of his insight. Of course, Sagara will be the one to face Agni. Even with all of you in the rear, Sagara will have to fight on the front line. What? We can't do that. You want all of us to stay behind while Sagara goes to the front lines? Sagara is a Gnostica. So, even if her earthly attributes are neutralized, she has plenty of other transcendental skills. But not you guys. What could you do with the Aero Plateau when your earthly attributes are neutralized? Just stay behind and don't get involved for nothing. You guys are of no use in this battle. Let's go, Marina. He looks back. What are you doing, Huda? You're not an Ananta. Ah, shoot. I naturally wanted to stay behind in the rear. Quit messing around and come with me. Let go. I can go on my own. Okay, this might be interesting too, because I mentioned we don't really know how the barriers and like specialties or attributes interact, but it seemed like with them throwing certain attacks for certain barriers that it would be useful to use a barrier's element against it. Or was it the other way around? The barrier would resist the element. If so, if the attribute is good against a matching barrier, then we have the Sky Elemental Garuda that can have Transcendentals used on the Sky barrier, but then also with the Darkness barrier down below, you have a Darkness attribute, Huda. What should we do, Ryagara? Or what should we do, Ryagara? Should we trust them and let Sagara go by herself? She's facing Agni of all people. We could at least give our lives for Sagara's sake, but not for them. But not them. Okay, never mind. Then, of course, this is a tough position because Ryagara is going to be weak around the Arrow Plateau, but Ryagara is an insanely, like, the most insanely loyal person, the zealot we have seen for Sagara. So putting Sagara in a situation where she's going to be fighting a god and, you know, weakened by being in the human world and being around the Arrow Plateau, so it's going to be a bad situation. And then having none of the Ananta around to help support her, while she's just surrounded by people who, like Clochet's saying, people who would not be willing to sacrifice themselves for Sagara. And now we have Marina's feather reaching her. Did they say anything? Of course they did. They made a big fuss, like, what about Sagara? I just hope they won't ignore our plans and come with us. Yeah, it's a good thing I didn't go talk to them myself. If I had, they would have held on to my clothes and begged me. You don't seem very concerned, even though you're facing Agni in an area where earthly attribute is neutralized. That's because the transcendental skills that I regained are very useful. Before, when I went to help the Gintarva clan, a lot of my transcendental skills were sealed off by Taraka. At the time, almost all of my main skills were sealed off, but now that I've gotten most of them back, is that, like, again, this might be one of those things that you can answer without spoiling me. Did Sagara get a bunch of her abilities back because of Taraka being taken out by Cossack recently? Then, facing a god with some summoners around, him, shouldn't be a problem. Oh, so are those Taraka mixed bloods and half-dragon Gintarvas the variable that could turn the table in our favor? That's right. While I'm dealing with Agni, your job is to block the rest of them. Well, wait a minute. You mean me too? Would I even be of use in a fight like that? I won't tell you to fight directly, so just stay by my side and do as I say. Okay, so Sagara's planning to use Huda for something then. Except for Agni, the rest of them, I'll deal with myself. We have some Fadi transforming. Okay, this is exciting. It looks cool. I like the pinkish color. So I'm interested to see more of what she'll look like. Okay, to be continued. That was a really good chapter. Not only did I have a lot of discussion, but it seems like we're sticking to 3 chapters this week, because, again, not only was it a lot of discussion, but that was a really good chapter with some really heavy stuff. I had mentioned, again, before last week's, and I mentioned it a bit in the intro here, how this was a bit slower. That was really more before last week's. I think last week's, once again, I think the first chapter and the last chapter I read last week was important setup, important context. It was still good. And I think the third chapter is one where we got some, like, Ron and Rana, some more development there. But the second chapter was, again, really heavy with a lot of stuff. And this one, we got some really good character stuff. We're seeing the situation that the Shura are going to put themselves in. We've got the conundrum, the predicament that Ryagara specifically is in here with letting Sagara go fight like this. Sagara saying, oh, you know, it's going to be fine. I have these transcendentals now, but it's still going to be a tough situation. The odds are kind of still stacked against the Shuras in a way. It's neat that Clochet's bringing that up. I like that Clochet often vocalizes a lot of this stuff. But like Clochet was saying, as things have gotten better or more optimistic for the humans, things are looking worse and worse for the Shuras. It almost seems like the Shuras are the ones at a disadvantage as they're about to go attack. So I am excited to see where we carry on from here. We got 2 more chapters to read. We get to read the afterword before that. But I like this chapter a lot because not only did we get some character stuff, we got to check in with the Shuras who we haven't been seeing a lot lately. And we got, again, like last chapter, some really good setup stuff that continues to tell us more about how things are going to play out. So really good in every way. And there was one other thing I wanted to say. Oh yeah, the Shuras. I really love how Kurigam, through the very beginning, has said, okay, there's a lot of main characters. These are your main characters. And some of our main characters are the Shura. I really like how the writing has felt like that. It's not just saying, like, as much as I love My Hero Academia, there's like this constant thing where it's like all of Class 1A is the main characters, but it's like, okay, you say they're all the main characters, but some of them are vastly more used than others. Some of them are vastly more important than others. Some barely do anything. So I like that rather than being like that, it's like, oh yeah, all these characters are the main characters, and it actually feels like it. It actually feels like, you know, you're rooting for the humans, but also the way that you see it from the Shura's perspective also makes you feel bad that they have to lose. I mean, you don't feel that bad because you don't know truly what the stakes are of what they're trying to accomplish. We haven't got enough flashbacks yet to see how important this is yet, how dear this is yet, what it is that they're doing. Their full plan has still been kept mysterious, which is, again, still a good thing because it makes you interested in figuring out what it is they actually want. But I think that the way that the Shura feel like you almost want to root for them in a way, and they really do still feel like main characters too, I like that it's been done well. And also, like Kurigam mentioned in one of the afterwards, not just straight up killing off Clophe that one time out of nowhere, because wanting deaths to matter, that's something again that I really appreciate, because reading Chainsaw Man on the channel, one of my biggest gripes with Chainsaw Man, and one thing that I didn't like, is characters just die all the time without getting their characters explored, without getting a full arc. And I like that Kubera as a series, instead of just killing off characters or not using characters, it feels like we're using all of them, even like the minor characters, like what we saw here with the like I called them the Sagara children, or Sagara siblings, those 4. So I feel like they, even as minor characters, have been well done. Like Pingara and Clophe, honestly, the female characters getting treated better than the male characters, because Clophe is kind of like, who is he? Who even are you? Pingara has just been sneaking around whenever we see him, and that's kind of about it. So they haven't gotten as much, but I feel like I have a much better understanding of Ryagata's character, and Clophe, even though she hasn't been like, or Cloche, even though she hasn't been like deeply fleshed out as a character, I mentioned before, she at least gets to talk a lot and vocalize a lot and kind of tell us as an audience what the Shura are thinking or what they're going through. But yeah, really long one aside, I just thought there was a lot of good stuff to discuss. Let's go read the afterword. And also, I think it's good to do more discussion. I feel like a lot of people might look to reaction videos where you're just watching something or reading something, and at that point it's just an audiobook basically. But that's kind of not really fair use to me. I feel like you have to add something, you know. So for me, I for the longest time didn't even show things on screen, because I'm like, you know, it's kind of unfair to show the entire chapter on screen, but everybody else did it, but just with a filter. So I was like, well, I guess I'm going to start doing that. Everybody else is doing it, and it gives you something to look at while you're watching the video instead of having to pull it up in another tab on your own. But I do feel like it's important to add things to your reaction. So I do want to make sure that I discuss things, and that I'm not just, you know, going in and just reading something and say, okay, nice, end the video. Like, because at that point, what's the point of me sharing it with you? What's the point of me reading it with you if we're not talking about it? But yeah, either way, let's go to the afterword. I think I'm usually on the top left for the afterword. I don't remember. I'm usually at the top or the bottom. I think I'm at the top. The afterword this time, let me make sure you can read it. Okay. We have Vidyagara here. There was someone who said that it would be nice if the Ananta tribe also had the 5th stage Rakshasa, I'm assuming they mean. There are 5th stage Rakshasa in the Ananta tribe, but they belong to the group opposing Sagara and are currently in the Shura realm. Okay. Again, Google Translate, I kind of have to... I mean, I have years of practice with Tower of God's translation, and now kind of with Kubera's translation too, of reading between the lines, knowing the translation isn't perfect, and getting the meaning, if not the literal words that the translation gives you. Then, people ask why Lise has grown so tall, but Lise is currently 166 centimeters, as mentioned in episode 8 of Fallen Flowers. So the conclusion is, it's not that Lise is tall, it's the height of the people she's compared to. Yeah, I thought that too. Mira's just kind of like... It was weird seeing the panel. I thought about it, but I didn't say anything there, where Lise is like so much taller than Mira, where Mira feels so much more mature, but it's that Mira's just tiny and short. Then it's a scene where Samphati seems to be the lead and Marna seems to be the supporting role. Marna's next to Samphati right now, so she's like subordinate 1 and he's actually a very strong character. The persuasiveness is fading. No, I kind of like it. I kind of like them as sort of a teacher-student relationship. And they look really cool here. And I like how Samphati's been portrayed as so key to what the Shuras are doing. Like one of the biggest threats, if not the biggest threat that the humans are facing right now, is Samphati's involvement. As the Ananta tribe, back after a long time, especially Clofe, it's been a really long time, right? And then 229 empathy. So that was a really good chapter. I like all of this. I don't think there was anything else I wanted to say. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think so. There was something that made me think of, but either way, let's go read 151. I love how at the beginning I was like, I don't know, maybe we could do more than 3 chapters, or I was thinking to myself, if I finish Kubera early, maybe I can just record ORV a day early. Meanwhile, 1 chapter and I read for 30 minutes. But we're starting with Yuta this time, and we get a flashback. You have good vision, so keep an eye on this place by yourself. I'll be watching the opposite end with Cossack. Still, I thought one of them would have stayed with me in order to keep an eye on me. Does the fact that they left me alone like this mean that they trust me? And he notices, I love the arrow. I love the YouTube thumbnail arrow, the tiny dot. Lise? What's she doing over there, alone at a time like this? Lise wouldn't be... Is this a trap? Because Lise would still be up at the turret, right? What's she doing over there, alone at a time like this? What are you doing, Lise? You'll die if you fall from there. Regeneration with that bracelet doesn't work here. And he flies off. For a moment. You'll die if I just let you fall. So, I'll just hold you, just for a moment, or for just a moment. Lise, I know things are really hard right now, and we're not seeing her face. Is she doing this because she wants to have one last conversation with him, or is this a setup? I know things are really hard right now, but you can't make an extreme choice like this. They grab around his waist. Again, is this a really cute moment where she wanted to have one last conversation with him and she's like, he wouldn't show up unless I did this, which is dramatic. Or is this a setup? I'm worried now. Your justice in mind, part 17. Yeah, see, Lise is still at the barrier. This is... So if I were to have a guess at who it is... But... Oh, wait. I was going to say somebody would be watching Asha, though, right? I would say it would be... No, and they have 2 arms. Is there a disguise? Is there a disguise magic? Is that a thing? I was thinking it'd be Asha trying to lure him out for something. Because she just cut her hair short, so I was like, maybe she put a wig over it or something. But no, this Lise has 2 arms. I mean, technically we don't know. Asha could have just been hiding one of her arms this whole time somehow. Then, I know things are really hard right now, but you can't make an extreme choice like this. And Lee's is still at the turret. Don't push yourself too much. That's right, if anything shows up, then you can jump in. Ah, I just thought I should practice in advance like this so I can shoot right away. And this won't tire me out. I'm fine, so don't worry. She's really working hard. I wish she were a student of mine. If we had been closer in Atera, I would have made sure to keep her with me. Hey, they just had the wrong attitude. Haven't a lot of people given up on you during their training with you? Okay, sorry. Should read left or right. And then, I had one decent student recently, but then, I didn't take him with me to Calibloom before. Is this going to be Kaz, maybe? Or no, duh, it's probably Ari, right? Right, when Teo disappeared. But didn't Nasha say not to tell Lise that? It doesn't matter. The reason she said not to tell her was to keep her from finding out about the Red Sky incident. Okay, so probably Kaz, then? True. It's not like Lise doesn't know about that now. We have attacks coming in, maybe? They all react. The sky. It's that superior Shura from the Garuda clan. The color of the sky changes when they attack. But look, the sky isn't red this time. There must be another superior Shura from the Garuda clan. But I don't see any signs of Shuras. The Shuras attacked when we couldn't see them back in Atera, too. They're probably using transcendental skills in human form. That's not good. If they're in human form, then they could just hide and we wouldn't be able to see them. Huh? That's strange. The turrets over there are working. But what on earth are they attacking? You're right. Why are the turrets going off when there aren't any Shuras? Plus, they're just shooting at the air. Does Samfadi have like a stealth transcendental? Or is Samfadi just moving so quickly that though the turrets can like automatically see, the people can't? We've got Agni looking on. And maybe, whether it is a stealth thing or a fast movement thing, that's why Samfadi wasn't necessarily as worried about having Agni use insight, because she doesn't plan on Agni seeing her. It looks like they set the turrets to auto fire. Unless they're broken, there must be a Shura over there somewhere. Are they in stealth mode? This makes things difficult. It may be a nuisance, but I wouldn't say it's difficult. It looks like they suddenly used a transcendental skill, then hid right away. But their cloaking wears off as soon as they use transcendental skills, right? Or could it be Huda bringing in Sagara to bring Sagara in close? Because Hoti Chandra is a spell that lets you hide, and that's a darkness spell, and Huda should have a darkness attribute, so maybe Huda would have a transcendental that works in like a stealth mode kind of thing. It looks like they suddenly used a transcendental skill and then hid right away, but their cloaking wears off as soon as they use transcendental skills, right? If we just wait for that and then attack, and then portals? An attack comes through and crashes down. Cossack, it looks like you don't know since you've never met a 5th stage Rakshasa. If this one has both sky and darkness attributes, it can use the highest level cloaking, which means they can use transcendental skills even while using cloaking without it wearing off. It's not completely hopeless. First, we could collaborate with someone who can use Hoti Shurya. It might be different if we had the God of Light on our side, but it's very difficult taking the humans into battle. Okay, so I think it's neat that combining light and darkness can like basically give you the best cloaking, because we've seen that like Shurya can track things and darkness can hide things, so putting like tracking and darkness together. And also it seems like potentially it's sort of like, unlike Marina's transcendental, which turns the sky red, it's almost like maybe somebody put up like a false sky to hide whatever's going on outside of the false sky. And then these attacks like come through portals opened up in the false sky. If so, that's a really, really cool way to do things. Second, we can refer to where the turrets are auto-firing. They keep spelling turrets with an N, or turrets with an N. I wonder why they do that. I know that a lot of webtoons doesn't, like, again, take this with a grain of salt because this is only my very limited knowledge. But from my very limited knowledge, a lot of Webtoons translators are Korean. They're not like native English speakers. They're Koreans who learned English to translate into English. So if that's the case, is it just, this one particular translator for Kubera, if they were Korean, they just thought that turrets had an N in it? But the direction that those turrets... Well, now it's spelled correctly, so never mind. But the direction that those turrets are firing keeps changing, which means that the target is on the move. It's already too late to follow the turrets. And third, Yuta could seal off their transcendental skill. Will the barrier be okay? It won't perform as well as in a Terra, since we're handling a different type of barrier. It's fine. It's true that it won't perform as well, but still a god's barrier wouldn't break over something like this. So are you waiting for Yuta to seal off their transcendental skill now? And Yuta's been distracted. And they're using that to attack while he can't seal off the transcendental skill. That's a smart strategy. But what's he up to? And we see him stumbling around. I can't see. That's strange. Just a minute ago I tried to save... What was that? My head hurts. So again, I wonder if he's been hit with some kind of spell or transcendental to confuse him or trap him in this fog. I'm exhausted. I don't want to think of anything. What are you doing here? And he looks up. Sees someone. I said, what are you doing here? And he's his young self again. I went to the trouble of getting away from Samfadi just to come here. Aren't you going to play with me? You. Come on, I told you my name last time. Have you forgotten again? Then I'll tell you again. My name is Jatayu. Jatayu. Man, this is... If we get a full flashback here, this is going to be so sad, isn't it? I love this scene. I think this chapter was extremely good again. Like 2 banger chapters back to back. Because I love the way that Agni and Cossack are thinking. I love the strategy of separating out Yuta and then the possibilities of all of what Samfadi can do. Again, it feels like she's a genuine threat and it makes her character so cool. Like, all of that was great. And then just the way that he's wandering through this fog, he like his eyes open where he's like shocked to hear her voice and surprised, and then he looks up and he's been bam, flashback attacked, and he's stuck in a flashback now. And just the pink sky with the pink like dialogue boxes. I love Jatayu's design. All of this is great. And again, my theory was still... Can you really even call it that much of a theory? Because I feel like it's what Kurigam was spelling out really well, is that Yuta's name wasn't Jatayu if he even had a name, but he devoured and ate the name, basically. And that's why Samfadi hates him. That's why the dialogue from his mother was the way it was. So, is Yuta just the name eater, and he can eat the power of the name? And if so, what does that mean for Lise moving forward? Heck, if so, is it not Lise's kindness that draws him to her? Is it not even his developmental hormones drawing him to her, so to speak? But is he drawn to her because of the power of the name? And maybe if they find a way to get past that, then it could help their relationship. Or maybe that is going to be something that's forever dooming their relationship and making it difficult or impossible even. Okay, really good stuff. I can't wait to see more. I love Jatayu's design. And if we get a flashback, this could be really tragic. Just knowing where I assume it goes. I assume that they're friends, but Yuta can't help it but to devour Jatayu along with the name. So starting the afterward, we have the real Jatayu appears. We already know this child's fate. Then, you were curious about the structure of the back of the cloak. So it's like this. You can't see it well. I wonder if there will ever be a chance to come out properly again. Then, these two were fun to draw. I really do like those two. Iry's really grown on me a lot, and I've always really liked Roosh. Then, what you see below is Arrow Plateau. Rentalo will be below it. Again, so the size of that attack is just... I mean, we've seen what a Gnostica is capable of with just basically creating an ocean with one of Gantarva's Transcendentals. So to see 5th stage Rakshasa just being able to rain down such a just massive attack without the barriers, just destroying a city and all the area around it. And the cities are massive in the world of Kubera, in the sense that they are containing like most of the population, and there's only a few of them. Crazy. 193 empathy. That was once again a really, really killer chapter, like twice in a row. Really good chapters. But we get to continue. Let's read one more. Starting 152, and I cannot wait. I had a long dream. About what? I can't remember. It feels like a lot happened. Really happy things, sad things, upsetting things, and something very scary. I wanted to run away, but I can't remember what it was from. Aren't you just forgetting because you wanted to run away? What do you mean, Jatayu? Stop calling me by that. I'm not Jatayu anymore. You devoured me. And even ate my name. Okay, so maybe it's not even a flashback. Maybe whatever fog he was put into, or maybe he was just knocked unconscious, and now this is within Yuta's inner world, and because he ate the name, Jatayu is still in there. And even ate my name. And that is a brutal panel. He's horrified. Starts screaming and jumps back. It must be nice, forgetting things because you don't want to remember me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I was wrong. I made a mistake. Don't cry. Then, it makes it seem like a bad person. Then it makes me seem like a bad person. Sorry. I missed a word in there. I'm the one who suffered. Why are you crying? How is it that you were able to deceive me with that kind face? Pretend to be my friend, and yet only be thinking of eating me the whole time. And I wonder if this is really something Jatayu would say, or if this is Samfadi messing with Yuta's mind. No, I didn't mean to. I really didn't realize what I was doing. Shut up. And if so, like maybe it is somebody trying to enact revenge or get answers out of Yuta. You can cry and make excuses all you want. It still doesn't change the fact that you ate me. I don't need apologies or self-reflection. That would only make my last 300 years meaningless. What I need right now is an ending to make those 300 years meaningful. You know? A very, very satisfying and thrilling ending. That's why you need to be a bad guy. Your Justice and Mine, Part 18. And we have the barrier holding up to this massive attack. That's a tremendous transcendental skill. What Shura could that possibly be? Still, it's a good thing that Agni's here. The barrier won't last, right? That would be terrifying, because the second that the barrier breaks, you would all just be erased, essentially. Of course, how could they pierce a perfect barrier created by a god? Still, just in case, everyone's evacuating to the temple. Let's stay and watch a bit more. When will we get to see a transcendental skill like that again? Attention, everyone. Please move to the nearest magic academy or temple. It's dangerous for you to be out here like this. That's right, guys. Listen to what they're saying. Just let us watch a bit. We didn't even see anything like that during the Great Upheaval. Besides, we'll be fine with Agni's barrier, and we see it was kind of mentioned before, humans becoming too over-reliant on the gods. Look at that. You can see the universe in the sky. Cool. They're so ignorant. Standing out there looking for something to see when all they do is get in our way. They'll have to suffer like the people of Atera or Calibloom to come to their senses. They might hear you, Do you want to get yourself in the papers again for a thoughtless remark? It's not like she's wrong. They could at least cooperate, since there's nothing they could at least cooperate since there's nothing they can do. What the heck are they doing right now? We all know that they would come running to us magicians for help if the barrier were to break. True. It would be good if they all evacuated just in case. It looks like they've lost even the slightest feelings of tension since the barrier looks so perfect. And now we have some green energy. We see Asha. Asha, for now it would be best to hide yourself among the other magicians, and then later jump into action and prove that you're not a dangerous person, says Lorraine. It would especially help you at a future trial if you were to save some high rankers from a crisis or something, since I love trying to manipulate the situation so much. Since the trial's decided completely by voting and people value their own experiences the most, it won't matter then that you broke out of jail. That's true. I can't believe they banished a magician like you from the city when you have so much potential to be helpful within the city. Why on earth are they picking on you like that? You wouldn't have let yourself get caught so easily if you had any evil intentions, right? Thank you for helping me like this, even at the risk of being labeled an accomplice, Master. I'll handle this on my own now, so you should go to Saha. You must be very tired from all of the stress, plus the city being under attack, so you should make up with Saha and get back on good terms with him again, or just pretend to support Saha's decision on the surface. Thank you. I can't believe you're worried about our relationship even after Saha did this to you. You really are a sweet child. Someday, a day will come when everyone understands your justice. Okay, that's really cool, dropping part of the title like that. Thank you, Master. Please stay safe until we meet again. And now, we're over to Saha. Saha, what do you see? We can't find Shuras within the range of Hoti Shuria. Okay, is he crying because he was using it not to look for the Shuras, but to watch what Lorraine and Saha were doing? Or Lorraine and Asha were doing? I keep wanting to say Sasha, but like throwing their names together for each of them. And then, we can't find the Shuras within the range of Hoti Shuria. I saw something before, but it moved so quickly that I only caught a glimpse of the tip of a wing. Of course you can't see. The Shura using a transcendental skill right now is far, far above the city right now. Then what are the turrets attacking right now? The turrets are attacking another Shura from the Garuda clan. This one is probably the one who caused the Red Sky incident. He's so fast that he's dodging all of the turrets' attacks. Dodging them? He's that fast even while using cloaking. No. Seeing that there's something riding on its back, there's a high probability that someone else is cloaking him. Okay, so it isn't necessarily Huda cloaking Sagara, unless Sagara is also riding on Marina's back, and Marina's meant to dodge in and get them in close so that we can have Sagara then, once Sagara's up close, deal with Agni, and then the rest will be dealt with by Marina, like he said. No, seeing that there's something riding on its back, there's a high probability that someone else is cloaking him. Those two are probably distracting the turrets while someone else above uses their transcendental skill without any disturbance. Then we should tell Agni that the real threat is above. No, telling him won't solve this. If Agni were to go all the way up there, he would get far away from the barrier and weaken it. Still, even if Cossack were to go, the one in the air is using a transcendental attack while cloaked, so... Ladies, go and tell Lila right now to use the thing that we weren't going to use until the absolute worst possible scenario. Lila, what last resort? She'll know what you mean if you tell her. And while you're talking to her, tell her this, too. I'm sorry that I couldn't be more help. Is Saha going to try to get Lila to summon the god then? And if so, this still just makes me question Saha. So many of the things he's done, I've kept wanting to, like again with Asha, being like, okay, Asha's done terrible things, but it's clear that Asha has some grand plan. It doesn't take away the fact that she's done terrible things, but is her grand plan just totally selfish, like revenge? Or is it actually for the greater good, like a lot of people have been, giving her the benefit of the doubt of? And with Saha, it's the same thing, where everything Saha's done feels like it's been for what Saha thinks is the greater good. It seems like Saha's been helping everyone, but so many of the decisions he's made, getting in between people, telling people to do this or that, not telling people the entire truth, manipulating people, it just makes me wonder if we can trust Saha, because it's like, okay, tell her what to do if it's only the last, worst possible scenario. And here at the very beginning, maybe he's trying to get out ahead of what's going on, because the Shuras seemingly have a really good plan that they're going through with. But, is he trying to manipulate Lila even? To try to get Lila to, summon a god so early, if that's what the plan is. With some of the decisions he makes, I really don't know if we can trust Saha completely. Again, I'm still thinking it's for what Saha thinks is the greater good, but so much of this is so suspicious. And it also makes you wonder, because Saha was given information by Shurya, it just makes you wonder, is it not that Saha is untrustworthy? Is Shurya untrustworthy? And Saha is just carrying out Shurya's will? Now we see Cossack. We still haven't found him, even after all that looking around. I think Yuta must already be outside the city. He didn't look like he would betray us. Maybe he's in some kind of problem. Cossack, for now go into the city, and if Yuta blocks that transcendental attack, then jump in and fight. Maneuvering around that transcendental right now would be dangerous, since it would use up vigor that you need to stay in Shura form. Then are you saying that you're going in right now? That's right. I'm going to find Yuta. To be continued. Another really good chapter. There's so much to think about, so much going on, and all the characters I think are really well done, which is, again, something I mentioned at the beginning of the video, where we spent so much time in Kubera building up all of the characters that now when we get into these heavy moments, it then makes you appreciate the characters more. So I was just thinking, what do I think is happening right now? Because it's kind of been kept mysterious. I think that Huda is the one that's riding on Marana's back and cloaking him. Sagara said that she had a plan for Huda. So is that just the plan? Or is Sagara also riding on Marana's back, and they are going to try to get in close with the three of them using Huda's cloaking and Marana's speed, then have Marana fight Cossack and the magicians? That was the idea when he said, I'll handle all of them, or whatever. Or was it Samfadi that said she'd handle all of them? But Samfadi maybe is just going to keep raining down attacks while we have the others fighting Cossack, potentially, if they can get in the barrier or whatever. And then have Sagara specifically go after Agni. Or is there even the potential? Because we don't know who can transform or who can do whatever's happening to Yuta. I was thinking that whatever's happening to Yuta was something else that Samfadi was doing. Samfadi was raining down attacks, but also doing whatever to manipulate Yuta here. But if it's not, and it's potentially something that Huda or Sagara are doing, then is the plan to use Marana as a distraction, and then while Marana's the distraction and while the attacks from Samfadi are also a distraction, then is Sagara doing whatever's going on with Yuta, maybe just knocked Yuta out even, and this is just Yuta's internal world. And is it a potential that Sagara is using Yuta as bait to lure Agni out, to fight Agni away from the barriers? So yeah, that could be what's going on too. It could be the three of them together, or it could be two of them in there while Sagara's using Yuta as bait. And it could be, because we haven't seen anybody who can hallucinate, like Genjutsu people, we don't know who exactly yet is the one who sort of pretended to be Lee's and lured out Yuta. Okay, really good stuff though. I love seeing the strategy. I love seeing the character stuff. I really want more Yuta Jatayu stuff because I think that's really good. But yeah, insane set of chapters. Those were really great. But really quick though, before we end and stuff, now that I've talked about this chapter, let's go read the afterword. Afterword this time says, which of the two of you suggested that position first? And Samfati seems like a real fraud, but can't break through. Seems like a real fraud, but can't break through Agni's barrier at all. Maybe seems like a real fraud because she can't break through the barrier. Then the three female magicians all seem like minor characters, but one of them will be a proper supporting character who appears later. It's a secret who it is. I don't know. I don't think it's the one on the right, but Kurigam could be doing that on purpose, making the one on the right look the least designed. It's probably the one on the left because they had the most design going on, but I kind of like the one in the middle. So, we'll see. Then, in the beginning of part 2, we briefly... Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I'm not showing any of those thumbnails, just in case. In the beginning of part 2, we briefly saw Cossack with only his wings out. This is the first time we've seen him fly in human form, right? Then Empathy 193. Okay, so, with that aside, I think we're good for this week. This is going to be a lot of editing. Wow, this turned out to be a really long one. Thank you for watching, though. That was amazing. Those 3 chapters were great. So yeah, with that all aside, I already talked about what I want to see more of, what I enjoyed about it. So like if you did like the video, and comment down there to tell me what you thought of these chapters and my thoughts and reaction. Subscribe for more. Kubera, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. If you want a link to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. If you want to help support the channel by sharing around or by dropping a super thanks, that's appreciated. If you want to help support the channel and get your name at the end of videos and get One Piece videos a bit early, then you can hit join down below to become a member. Go to patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or a link will be in the description to become a patron. Thank you to people who are already members and patrons. Thank you to chosen regulars Evan Hawley and Bertie Wooster, Magical Girls FR Nono, JA and VD Band, Cheriton students, David Lingstaff, Slayer candidates SG and Stan Cedar, and Pure Elements, Pate Diallo, and also the Storyteller. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.